Hey guys, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. We've already kind of gone through and shown you a lot of single gene stuff like your pastel, your spider, and all of that. And today we decided we focus on one of those single genes and what it does in some of the combos that we have. So you can see what the potential is in that single gene. We thought, why not start with the original, which would be a pastel. And this is one of our big breeder females, and she is a single gene pastel. Now she's a big single gene. She's pushing over 3,000 grams. But you can see the color of the pastel, pretty clear. It's got almost this kind of goldish tint to it. She's held her color pretty well for her age. You can see the blushed head, the difference in the size and the pattern. She looks like she's about to take a bathroom break on me. I hope she doesn't do that in the video. But it does happen sometimes. You can kind of tell that by how thick that tail is there. Almost looks like she's full of eggs, but she's not. So, not yet. But this is what we're talking about. Single gene pastel. So let's see what we can do with just that single gene. Probably the first thing people see when they start mixing pastel tends to be the bumblebees. It's a very, very common combination. Or very common combination. And this is one of our bumblebees here. We actually produce this girl ourselves. I really like these guys. I think the colors are amazing. You can see the spider pattern coming through, that's what a bumblebee is. It's a pastel spider. This one has really nice high white sides, and it's kind of why we kept it. We always get to pick the best for ourselves, which is probably the best part of breeding. So, and look at that head, how bright that thing still is. And she's just now hitting breeding size. So we're really excited to breed her this year. Hopefully she'll produce some babies for us. But that is a bumblebee, pastel spider. Now if you want to kick that up another notch, you can by making a super pastel spider. Remember, pastel is an incomplete dominant gene. So, with that being said, there's a super form, and this is it. And you can see how much lighter this snake is. This is really light in color, how blush this black is. This is exactly what you want to find in your killer bees, which is a super pastel spider. Look at the head on that thing too, very blushed out, almost white. And she's also just hit breeding size this year for the first time. There you can also see a little bit of the spider wobble. This snake does display wobble, pretty easy to see wobble. It's not severe. As you can see, it gets that corkscrewy look, but as soon as its head's on the ground, it figures out and moves fine. Has no problems when it's on the ground, but when it's in the air, has a really rough time telling up from down. This is another snake that I personally produced, myself and camera guy Kurt, and we're really excited about her. That was one of the first goals we kind of had. We really wanted to produce a killer bee, so that popped out in our first season of successful breeding. It was like, we felt pretty good. And we also have another super pastel. This is a super pastel spot nose. This is not one we produced. She's not quite breeding size yet this year. It'll be another season for her. And here again, you can just see how bright the color is. You can get that head in there. And then how blushed out all of this is. But this keeps some interesting black still in there. And they look different than just a straight super pastel because that spot nose causes a pattern to get kind of funky. So that is our female super pastel spot nose. We have a male version of this as well. But this is the one that I had open and wanted to show off to you. And so we got that going for us. We have some really cool snakes we produced as well. I'll show you a few of those. This one's already sold, waiting to be picked up. Whole room's a mess in here. And this little guy, little girl, belongs. Now I got yelled at by this guy today, so if you're watching, this is a shout out directly to you, because he said, hey, you'll talk about snakes that are sold, you give a shout out to other people, and I don't hear you give a shout out to me. And I said, well, I didn't talk to you first. I hate to use your name without talking to you first. So this is Joe's. This snake belongs to Joe Wood right here. So you got your shout out, Joe. And this is a lesser pastel. And I think these things are gorgeous. The way those colors play together, you get that brightness coming in there, and you get that lesser on the sides. These snakes are fabulous. I mean, I obviously really like them. I have several of them. This is one we did let go. I'll show you the one we kept. Where did you go? The one I kept. You're not there. Oh yeah, I moved you over here, didn't I? Yes, I did. This is the one I kept. And this one is slightly different. You can see the head's a little bit different. There's a lot more blushing through the back here, how much lighter that gets up there. And the color, believe it or not, is just a shade different. I'll pull both these out so you can see that. Just a shade different, a little bit more pale. Not much, but you can really see it there. A little more pale. And I've shown that in a few videos. You can really see the difference in the black. So, even in the sides a little bit. So what we're not sure of was the pairing was a lesser pastel, sulfur, possible sulfur, to a normal. And so we think this one maybe has a sulfur, so we kept it. We're going to let it kind of grow up a little bit. Probably pair it back with the father to see if any super sulfurs pop out. And that'll tell us if the sulfur's there. So you have the lesser pastel and the lesser pastel possible sulfur. I think we've only got one more to show you. Am I right, Kurt? Just one more? Yep. I love this snake. This is what happens when you start putting stuff together with some recessive traits. And in case you wonder why I'm having to put my hand up at all of them, is today is feed day. And so they're all a little bit rambunctious. Because once we get done doing videos today, we will feed all these guys. This is an Xanthic SK line pastel. This guy's awesome looking. Like, you know, you can see when you take that and you put all that yellow in there, then use the Xanthic to delete it, what you get. And I just love it. If you guys know me, you know I love Xanthic stuff. So this is where it's at for me. Look at that head and color. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous snake. I think that's all of our combos involving pastel we currently have. I'm probably forgetting one or two. Pastel's in about everything. And it doesn't go like, there's nothing you can put pastel in and make it worse. Well, I say that, I guess there are a few things. I prefer my banana straight and other banana pastels, but some people like the banana pastels better. The pastel goes with almost everything. And man, those incomplete dominants are where it's at, because you can really change the look and you can really, you know, beef up your breeding projects by never making normals. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed our tour of the pastel gene. And if you have any questions or any other combos that you want to share, you know, send us some pictures, make a comment. We got some other cool stuff coming out that hopefully we can show you next season, like pastel calico rocks. We're going to try to make some of those. You know, it goes well with GHI. I think those look good. Pastel GHI Mojave, it's out of this world. So pastel goes with about everything. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.